All right, guys, in this video, we are talking about some recent comments that Phil Spencer made about exclusive games and how apparently Phil believes that they are completely counter, generational exclusives, that is. They are completely counter to what gaming is about. And he seems pretty passionate about what he's saying here, although I don't know that I agree with it. And I think it will make for some interesting conversation, and I will certainly be interested to see what you guys have to say. I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to save this video for tomorrow or do another double upload. So I think I'll just do another double upload, probably take tomorrow off, and we will return on Sunday with another episode of Press X Podcast at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you there. It's always a good time. We're going to have a lot to talk about, but not only are we talking about these comments Phil Spencer made about exclusive games, but he also talked a little bit about cross-gen games and how, in his opinion, Xbox Series X games are not being held back by cross-gen development since they will be on the Xbox One, which, again, I'm not so sure that I agree with that. So one other thing he did talk about that I'm not going to actually spend much time at all talking about in this video, and I'll just get it out of the way now, is he confirmed that they are continuing to pursue studio acquisitions. I do find this pretty interesting because, it just goes to show that they're not stopping anytime soon. I think there are some people who were believing maybe they were going to slow it down or just stop completely, but he made it very clear in this interview that no, they still have the green light and the checkbook open and they're going to continue to buy studios. So I think that's a good thing, but let's read a little bit about what he had to say about exclusive games here. So Xbox head Phil Spencer has said he believes that generational exclusives are completely counter to what gaming is about. The executive's comments came in a frank discussion with GamesIndustry.biz about Microsoft's cross-generational release strategy, which will see its future games released across its next-gen Xbox Series X console, plus current generation hardware and PC. The approach is unique in the console space and in great contrast to the strategy of rival PlayStation, which has committed to releasing games that are only possible on its more advanced PS5. The conflicting stances have sparked much debate online about which approach holds the most merit. So when Phil Spencer was asked about Xbox's cross-gen release strategy, he offered his most impassioned comments yet about why he believes it's the right approach. And so this is what Phil Spencer had to say about exclusive games. As a player, you are the center of our strategy. Our device is not the center of our strategy. Our game is not the center of our strategy. We want to enable you to play the games you want to play with the friends you want to play with on any device. On TV, the Xbox console is going to be the best way to play console games. Xbox Series X is the most powerful console out there and will have absolutely the best versions of our console games. But that's not to exclude other people from being able to play. Sorry, I'm a bit soapboxy with this one. Gaming is about entertainment and community and diversion and learning new stories and new perspectives, and I find it completely counter to what gaming is about to say that part of that is to lock people away from being able to experience those games or to force someone to buy my specific device on the day that I want them to go buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. Gaming is bigger than any one device, and that is something as an industry that we've embraced all up as we bring more and more players in. I think it's vital to the role that gaming can play on the planet. Microsoft has said its upcoming games, including Series X launch title Halo Infinite, will support Xbox One for the foreseeable future. The platform holder is also understood to be planning a second next-gen console codenamed Lockhart with less powerful specs than the Series X. Asked if current gen console support could be held back or could hold back the scope of Microsoft's next-gen games, Spencer pointed to PC as an example of how it could work. Frankly, held back is a meme that gets created by people who are too caught up in device competition. I just look at Windows. It's almost certain if the developer is building a Windows version of their game, then the most powerful and highest fidelity version is the PC version. You can see that with some of our first-party console games going to PC, even from our competitors. I think he's taking a shot at Sony there with them putting Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, that the richest version is the PC version. Yet the PC ecosystem is the most diverse when it comes to hardware. when you think about the CPUs and GPUs from years ago that are there, he added, yes, every developer is going to find a line and say that this is the hardware that I'm going to support, but the diversity of hardware choice in PC has not held back the highest fidelity PC games on the market. The highest fidelity PC games rival anything that anybody has ever seen in video games. So this idea that developers don't know how to build games or game engines or ecosystems that work across a set of hardware, there's a proof point in PC that shows that's not the case. So, yeah, some pretty passionate comments here from Phil Spencer that I just want to kind of give my thoughts on. And so we're going to break this up. We'll talk about the first comment he made here about exclusive games, more specifically generational exclusive games, because it's very clear that Phil is going on the defensive here, where he's trying to let everybody know that, look, they're not going to make Xbox Series X exclusive games because they just don't believe that's the right way to go about it, I guess. In Phil's eyes, it's a matter of trying to bring as many people on board as possible, not so much about giving people a reason or a incentive to go out there and buy their new console. To me, this isn't all that surprising, because when you think about the things that Phil's been saying for a couple of years now and the approach that Team Xbox has taken, it's very clear that, yeah, the device is not the center of their strategy. I mean, he's literally said that he just doesn't care how many consoles they sell. He doesn't even care if you're willing to buy one this holiday season. It's just there for people who want it. Their focus, and again, this is also something that Phil has made clear in the past, their focus is tapping into that potential 2 billion smartphone gamer market and just trying to bring in as many people as possible. And I just disagree with this because, look, I'm not saying that he's wrong in the sense that if that's the approach you want to have and the approach you want to take, where you just don't think having, generational exclusives or exclusives in general matters, I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous and it's a little bit, I don't know, hypocritical in a way, because it's like, if that's the case, Phil, then why not put Halo on PlayStation? Why not put Halo and Gears and Forza on Nintendo devices, right? Like, I mean, maybe they've tried, maybe Sony would actually block that, but I don't see that being the case. And so it's creating this weird situation where he seems so passionate about not having exclusive games and about how it's against their whole idea of trying to bring on as many people as possible. But if that's the case, then why do you still lock it to a platform? Why not just put them everywhere, like Minecraft? I'm just saying, like, there is a little bit of hypocrisy here. But even putting that aside, I just simply don't agree with the notion that exclusive games are bad somehow, because I don't think they are. In fact, I think that most people would argue that if you look at what makes the Nintendo platform and the Nintendo consoles, the Sony platform and the Sony consoles special and unique, and even the past Xbox consoles special and unique, it's the exclusive games. Not only do you usually get a higher quality from these games, but think about the mascots, right? Think about Master Chief, how synonymous Master Chief is with Xbox, especially the original box and the 360. You think about Nintendo, you know that when it comes to Mario or any of their IP, you know for a fact the only way you're playing that, at least the big AAA games from Nintendo, is through their console. And that's just the way it's always been. And last time I checked, people are okay with that, right? Nintendo finds a really good way to basically, break through the market and be very, very appealing to a wide market, right? And you could argue that, oh, maybe that's because their stuff appeals to kids as well. And maybe that's true, but explain to me Sony. How is Sony able to do so well in the console market every single generation? It's because it's not just exclusive games, but I'm telling you, it is a very, very significant piece of the puzzle here. In fact, I'd say it's more than half the puzzle. I'd say that exclusive games are the reason why Sony is in the position they're in right now and why people are so on board with the brand, because it's about the brand recognition. It's not just about selling devices, but I'm just trying to say here that I think Phil Spencer's comments are a little bit off the mark. Like, I just don't understand where he's taking this approach. He makes it, his reasoning is basically, we don't want to exclude people. But at the same time, you're still locking your games to your ecosystem and your platform, at least most of them, you know? And to me, it's just confusing because it's like, which is it? Like, which one are you going with here? Because in my opinion, you should either go with one or the other. Either commit to exclusives, have at least a few exclusive games, maybe not all of them, but at least a few of them exclusive to just your console, even your next gen console, so you can sell that console as effectively as possible. But again, we have to understand that these comments are being made by Phil Spencer because he doesn't really care too much about selling the console. So, talking about his other comment here, where he was talking about the idea of Xbox One games being, Xbox Series X games being held back because they're going to be cross-gen with Xbox One. I understand what he's getting at here with scalability and how some of the most cutting-edge games are playable on PC, and given how, diverse PC hardware is, I still, I'm just not understanding why he's defending this, because it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. If this is what you want to do, it's fine. But in my opinion, to sit here and try to deny just an absolute fact that, yes, if you are developing a video game for a cutting-edge RDNA 2 12 T-flop console, but you also have to make sure that that video game can run just as well as it does on this console, right? And it has to function fully on, you need to make sure it can function fully and run on a console that came out in 2013 with Jaguar CPU cores in it. I don't care what anybody tries to say, there will have to be compromises from the ground up. You're talking about laying down the framework of the size, scale, and scope of your game. Yes, it will have, certain aspects will need to be cut out. It's just, or at least changed. It's just the way it's going to have to be. And to sit here and try to make it sound like there won't be just sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a developer. They're the developers of the upcoming horror game that is, ironically enough, exclusive to the Xbox Series X console. It's called The Medium. I'm sure most of you know about it. I don't have the name of the development team in front of me, but I believe they were asked why it was, or they were asked if it was going to be like an actual true Xbox Series X exclusive, right? And they said, yes, it is. And when they were asked why it wasn't coming to Xbox One, they literally said, straight up on their Twitter account, I'll have to see if I can find the tweet and put it up. Hopefully I can. But if I can't, I promise you, this is a real thing, okay? They literally said it's because some of the things that they're trying to do in this game would not have been possible if they had to also make this game with the Xbox One in mind. So Phil Spencer's comments here are a little bit, again, disingenuous, because he's not wrong. Yes, the idea that PC is very, development is very scalable and almost every game is developed with PC in mind. So because of that, the same logic should apply to console. However, the difference is developers can cut off certain, they can cut it off at a certain level on PC, to where when it comes to developing for a next-gen console and a last-gen console, you can't really do that same thing, right? Because there isn't, if you say, oh, we just want to, develop this game for the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X, but get rid of the One S, that makes no sense, because the One X and the Series S use the same CPU. Now, if the One X had a better CPU than the S, then that would make sense. That's like a mid cutoff, right? And that could technically, that's kind of what you could do on PC. Developers could just decide, look, we want to cut it off here, okay? In order to achieve what we need to achieve, we can't go any lower than this. When it comes to the Xbox One and cross-gen development, they have to be able to get it to work on the lowest common denominator, which is 2013 Jaguar CPU cores, which can be extremely difficult. And even if it's not difficult, you're certainly going to be limited in maybe different things that could potentially be possible if you didn't have to tether it to that, right? So I don't know. Even if you were to just develop a game for just the Series X and just PC, even then you could still cut it off. Like you could at least make the bare minimum spec on PC something that is above an Xbox One, right? Like that's the point I'm trying to get at here. And I do apologize if it's taking me too long to get to that point, but I just think that these comments from Phil are just a little bit like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand why he's getting so defensive about this stuff, because the truth is, like, he's going so against what the vast majority of, in my opinion, gamers have come to expect, which is a normal generation, just a normal console generation shift, a traditional shift. I think that that's what people like. I think all you have to do is take one good look at Nintendo and Sony and see the success that they have found throughout the generations, throughout the years, to know this. And for some reason, Phil Spencer's just so, he's so hung up on, no, they're going to do things their way. And it's all about being as inclusive as possible. And like, I'm telling you, you can try your best to appeal to the wide world that just has never cared about gaming in the way that you want them to care about it, but you will lose something in the process of doing that. And we've already witnessed that, and we're going to continue to witness that. And that's just the way it is. If people were interested in your games, they would already be out there buying them. If they were interested in your console, they would already be out there buying that console. And so I'm not saying that there's something wrong with trying to get these people interested, but maybe you're just trying to appeal to the wrong audience. I don't know. I just wanted to take some time to go over these comments because I found them very interesting. And it's interesting how passionate Phil Spencer is getting here. Like, again, I understand where he's coming from, but I feel that some of these comments are a little bit disingenuous, and it's weird because it's just like there are actual legitimate reasons for people having this outlook towards Xbox and the next generation, and he's just kind of playing it off as like, no, we believe exclusives are against what gaming is about. It's about bringing everybody in. And cross-gen game development, that's not going to hold anything back. Like, come on. I think that's pushing it a little bit here. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I do apologize. It turned out a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. As I said, make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.